Hey guys, this is Steve with Fly Tying Specialties. Today we're going to tie a little epoxy buzzer pattern. Buzzers are more well known in England, used mostly in a Stillwater environment. Uses a stripped peacock quill for the body. We're going to use a little biots to kind of mimic the side of the fly that usually has kind of a white gill. Sometimes we use a bright orange or a chartreuse like this one you see here. This is going to be on our new curved barbless hooks with a small little tungsten bead. So let's get started here. So this is a size 14. I just like to tie these a little bit bigger just for demonstration, but you could certainly go down 16s and 18s on these. Just going to use a basic small 8 black thread, so we're just going to lay a base down here. Just take that down into the bend slightly and then come back just a few turns and get rid of our excess material here. So here's what we're going to use for the body. Basically a stripped peacock quill, has all the fibers removed. These come in about 8 to 10 different colors dyed, which is real nice. Reds work really good for this. So we're just going to clip off the thinner portion. And as I know it's hard to tell here, but these have a small dark band along one side of them. So you want to make sure when you tie that in and when you're wrapping that forward, that dark band is to the rear of the fly. And these can be a little brittle sometimes, so I'll just like to moisten them a little bit. So we're going to offer that in and tie that on the side of the hook with the, again, with the narrow end of the quill, making sure that black band is to the rear of the fly. And we're just going to move our thread forward. And I like to do this with some hackle pliers, makes it a little easier to grab onto this. Again, we're just going to come around this and kind of make sure each wrap is overlapping that previous one by about 1/3, and that just gives you that nice kind of banding effect. You know, a lot of these flies are tied with just thread or wire, and it certainly works, but when you look at this finished fly, it just has a nice little two-toned body, which most of these chironomids have when you look at them up close. And because they don't have a lot of other materials on this fly, they tend to sink fairly quickly. So you can already see that nice kind of banding effect. So you want to take that up. You don't have to get it all the way to the bead, because you are a little limited on these because of the length of the actual quill. Couple wraps to secure it, tie off our excess, and just make sure that little tag end is secure. Now we're just going to use some biots here. Just kind of select a couple that are the right size. You don't want them too fat. You know, obviously the smaller the hook, the narrower the biot needs to be. So I just got a couple here, a pair of them, line up the tips. And all I'm going to do here is just trim off the little bit of the tip, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, because I don't need that really fine, section. Okay, so these have a slight curve to them, so I want the curve, the bend of the curve against the hook with the point I just clipped off facing rear of the hook itself. And so I'm just going to lay that right on the side. One or two wraps and that holds it in place. Grab my other one, lay it on the far side, again even up those tips. And sometimes they'll slide down, you just adjust them. So once you've got those secured in place, I'm just going to come forward with a few more wraps to secure them. Now I can come in here and clip off the excess. And then continue to secure that down. build up a little thicker section here. Now a lot of these chironomids, as they rise to the surface, they trap a little air bubble, so that gives off a little shine. So what we're going to use here for that is just a piece of flat pearlescent tinsel. So we're just going to lay that right on top. Just pull it slightly so it passes the bead, and that way you have no little part there to trim off. And just wind that thread back right to the edge of those biots and then bring it forward again, just making a nice even abdomen section. Now it's just a matter of grabbing the biot on this side, or whichever side you prefer. Sometimes it's actually easy to grab these again with the hackle pliers. Bring them forward. So again, they're right on the side of the hook. My thread is behind the bead. One wrap will hold it. Grab the one on the far side. Now I just take the tinsel over the top, make sure that's in the center. Again, another wrap to secure it. And a few more. Add a little tension. Now an easy way I found to cut off this is just use a little hobby knife or X-Acto. Come in here and slice that tinsel off. And same with the remaining parts of the biots. If you just hold the blade against the bead and just kind of rock it up and down, it'll just trim those away. So I know it's kind of hard to see here. Just kind of trim those away, and sometimes they'll break. You know, these have little kind of stems on either side. Sometimes you can get in here with the scissors if you have to. There, trim that off. Now just use the thread to kind of hide any remaining bits of that didn't get cut off. And I like to build up a nice taper of thread, kind of ramp up onto the bead itself. And then you can just simply add your whip finish here. Again, just make a nice taper up onto the bead. It's a pretty quick fly to tie. Again, you can change the color of that the biot. You know, usually their little gills are white, but you can adjust that. You know, if you're fishing down deep, something like the chartreuse or orange helps out. Now to make this fly much more durable and add another little layer of shine to it, we're just going to take a good head cement. I like the ones with the brush here, and I'm going to actually just coat this entire fly, especially a lot on the thread, and again kind of ramp it up onto the bead. Make sure you get underneath all the way down right where it meets onto the bare hook, and just coat that completely. Sometimes if you get a little sag in the bottom there, you can just run something down it real quick, and that'll just kind of wipe off the excess. Straighten that out again. So it's just a quick epoxy buzzer. Again, has the illusion of the gills with the biots on the side. Sinks quickly, and it's very durable due to the epoxy coating. Thanks.